Afternoon. I'm Spot on Weather meteorologist Matthew Euler. Welcome to my latest video. It's been a while since I last cut a video here. I was kind of out for a little bit after a surgery. So, you know how things go after surgery, kind of healing up and everything. So, certainly appreciate everybody still, being a subscriber to my channel here on YouTube. I am now going to cover a very interesting scenario for next week, the Wednesday-Thursday time frame. Definitely, you may have seen it all over social media. Every weather geek out there is tweeting about this thing or posting about this thing, whether it's Facebook or X or whatnot. So let's go ahead and examine the way things stand right now. Now, again, everything I tell you in this video is going to change. It is going to change between now and the actual event. We're still 5 days out from the event. So again, this is just an assessment based on what I'm seeing today and kind of my thoughts about what I feel may happen in the video. So let's go ahead and move into it. Here's my overview. I wanted to create a video mainly because there is a definite potential for a winter storm from the 19th to the 20th of February across the Mid-Atlantic. Now, there is lots, and I mean lots, of uncertainty at this juncture. 5 days out from the storm itself, a lot is going to change in modeling between now and then. So, you can never say with weather that 5 days out, I definitely know what's going to happen, because you are not telling the truth if you say that 5 days out from a storm. This modeling is going to change. So again, this video presentation is based on all of the data I've analyzed today on the 14th. It's the 14th of February. It is Valentine's Day, by the way, everybody. So happy Valentine's Day out there to everybody. I forgot to mention that. We are on the 14th. Now, locally for Hampton Roads area, the rain-snow line is going to be very close. And there is definitely a potentially significant snow accumulations north of that rain-snow line, and a mixture of snow and rain along the rain-snow line itself. But for Hampton Roads, if we have a mixture of snow and rain for a good duration of the storm, and we're kind of teetering on the rain-snow line for it, there's a good possibility that we'll see lower snowfall accumulations. Anytime you throw any mix in there, or any cold rain. As you can see, that's another option there. Cold rain south of the rain-snow line with no snow accumulations. Anytime you throw rain or mix in there, it significantly reduces your accumulation possibility. Now, the storm track and the position of cold high pressure to the northwest, those to me are two key ingredients in determining the precipitation type for the Hampton Roads area in southeast Virginia as a whole. Let's first examine a couple differences at the 500 millibar level, the steering profile. Let me go ahead and get my pointer out here so we can see what I'm pointing at. Okay, so on the left, I'm showing a 500 millibar relative vorticity and geopotential heights, as well as wind velocity and knots. So in general, what we're looking at is per the European, this is the 12Z today, the latest model at midday, on the 14th of February, 12Z, we see an upper level low position over northeast Iowa. And what is going, let me go ahead and draw this out for you. So you got the upper low, I'll place a red L in it there over northeastern Iowa. And then your general steering flow at 500 millibars for whatever develops is going to basically run like that. All right, so where this upper low resides is really going to be key into how this surface low is steered. Now over here on the right, this is the GFS, and notice this upper level low is more elongated. It's not quite as strong than over here on the left, where this X, I'm putting the X, the European model on the left is a stronger closed upper low by 00Z on the 20th of February. That would be the evening of Wednesday, the 19th of February. So there's a big difference here between the modeling. The overall for the GFS, this would be a weaker system, and it would generally run out like that, a little bit of a difference there in the steering flow, and the strength of the upper low is going to make a big difference. Now, let's go ahead and compare some modeling here. Now, I am going off of the 00Z runs, okay? I just wanted to put something together. I know this is a little bit outdated because the 12Z has come in, and I have examined the 12Z. And there are some changes to it, but I just want to lay the groundwork for what gives us winter storm potential, specifically in Virginia in the winter season, the Mid-Atlantic as a whole. The first thing you want to have is a very strong Arctic high pressure system to the northwest, and we see this over northeastern Montana, a 1045 millibar Arctic high pressure system there. All right, so you want that Arctic high, and what you want it to do is the clockwise flow around this high right here. The clockwise flow is going to direct colder air from the north, northerly winds, right on into the, basically at the surface. You get colder, denser at the surface, and you get overrunning moisture coming in from the southwest over the top of the colder, denser air at the surface. This is definitely one of those big ingredients, is that strong Arctic high to the northwest. You need that constant funneling in of colder air with cold air advection down at the surface. And then again, you get the overrunning moisture with the storm development off the coast. With the GFS model forecast, this, by the way, is for 00Z on the 20th of February. These charts. On the left, I'm showing the 1,000 to 500 millibar thickness chart forecast with the precip overlaid on it over the thickness lines. Anything in green is generally rain, anything in blue is snow, and anything in pink is ice or a mix. So we still, on the GFS, generally have the same positioning of the Arctic high. It's sitting back over the northwestern North Dakota area at 1044 millibars. We're still getting the cold funneling of air into the Mid-Atlantic. And we got this nice trough that's deep over the eastern U.S. We got the surface high pumping in the colder air with the northerly winds. And you're getting a nasty mess here. We got surface low pressure development on Wednesday evening developing, according to the GFS model, off South Carolina. Over here on the right, look how the cold air is just plunging in. Purple coloring here is indicating the most anomalously cold temperatures. You can see the legend over here on the right for the actual numbers. Blue is colder than normal, but the purple is the coldest temperature anomalies, the coldest of air. Is back over the Midwest and the central U.S., diving south towards Oklahoma and Texas. The Canadian model forecast, a little bit stronger on the Arctic high at 1051 millibars, still positioned generally in the same location as of Wednesday evening, the 19th of February, over northwest North Dakota. We still have very persistent colder air filtering in on the front side of this high pressure with the clockwise flow from the Midwest all the way to the Mid-Atlantic. We're starting to see some of the overrunning moisture develop across Arkansas Wednesday evening, according to the Canadian model, southeast Oklahoma, North Texas, even some wintry precip possible down pretty far to the south here. And then we got some rain starting to move up in advance of this developing low pressure system. And look at the anomalies here on the Canadian model on the right. Just bitterly cold air in the purple shading, but it generally remains west of the Appalachians. I mean, we do have colder than normal anomalies with the blue coloring up and down the eastern seaboard, but the coldest core of the air is out over the central U.S. and the Midwest. Looking at the European model forecast, this is valid for also Wednesday evening, the 20th of February, 2025. This is the European forecast for Wednesday evening, and showing the blue is snow, the pink is a mixture of rain, snow, and the green is rain. Now look at where the Arctic high is here on the European model forecast at 00Z. It's a 1049 millibar high over South Dakota, and we still see the greatest cold air advection is occurring, and I'll tell you where it is here. Let me break this down, draw it out here. The strongest cold air advection is actually occurring in this area right here. That's where the strongest cold air is, that where I put that circle, the red circle. Anything within that red outline is where the coldest air is occurring at this time. on Wednesday evening. Now, there is some colder air getting funneled down from the north into the mid-Atlantic, and that's why you see this wintry precip across Virginia to West Virginia down to eastern Kentucky and Tennessee. We also do show, according to the European model, low pressure just off the South Carolina coast. And then on the right, we're showing the anomalies again, the purple colors indicating the coldest temperature anomalies generally across the Midwest and the central U.S. So I think we have really good model agreement as far as the synoptic pattern. The synoptic pattern being an Arctic high well to the northwest. It's going to keep funneling colder air in on its front side. And you see the anomaly maps here, GFS, Canadian, and the European. They're all pretty consistently placing the coldest air across the Midwest and the central U.S., okay? It is colder, don't get me wrong. It is very cold in the Virginia down to the Carolinas. But it's not the coldest of air. Now, if we look at now this is an updated 12Z European model from today on the 14th of February. And look at where the coldest air is, kind of like what I drew, right? Let's see where I drew the coldest, strongest cold air vection here. And where does it set up? Right beneath what I drew. So very cold air, central U.S., southern plains, all the way down to Texas, and then east to Missouri and into the Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valley. Now, granted, on Thursday, this graphic here on the left is 2-meter temperature anomalies from the European model, the latest run, just released. We're still looking at 25 degrees Fahrenheit below normal across southeast Virginia on Thursday morning. Actually, this would be Thursday afternoon. I apologize. This is 18Z Thursday, so this is about 1 p.m. local time in Virginia, and we're still 25 degrees below normal. What happens? Okay, so I got these mixed up, and I do apologize. Okay, let me refocus myself. I kind of threw this together really quick. All right, this graphic here on the right shows 2-meter temperature anomalies for 12Z. So this is 7 a.m. Thursday morning. Now, I want you to pay attention, if you live in the Hampton Roads area, to one area in particular here on this anomaly chart on the right. I want you to pay attention to this right here, where I'm circling on the right-hand graphic. That is a little warm nose of air that's trying to come up the coast. Now, whenever you get a warm nose like that coming up the coast, right along the coast like that, it can literally result in a changeover to cold rain. And this concerns me right here, guys. This concerns me if you live in Hampton Roads and you want a major snowstorm, because this happens quite a bit during the winter. And so if you notice, it's there where I circled the area, and then over here on the left, I already briefed this, but I'll brief it again. Over here on the left, you see the colder anomalies come crashing in. 25 degrees Fahrenheit below normal by Thursday afternoon here on the left. So I have, this is 7 a.m. right here. This is 7 a.m. anomalies on Thursday. And this is 1 p.m. This is 1 p.m. I just put a 1 there. So there's a very brief window, depending on storm track, on where we could see an elevated warm nose come in and change the frozen precip over to liquid, a cold rain, or even a mixture of rain and snow temporarily across Hampton Road cities. If we look at the continued forecast for the anomalies here, the 2-meter temperature anomalies, it's going to be freezing, guys. Look at this chunk of Arctic air. It starts to really nose in from the west by, this is Thursday afternoon again. It's actually the same graph. It's the same thing, yeah. But by Friday or by Thursday evening, look at this. It's just freezing like you wouldn't believe from the central plains all the way to the mid-Atlantic. So it is going to be extremely, extremely cold. Now let's examine the model snowfall forecast. Now, I did add the latest model forecast on the right. So I'm comparing the 00Z snowfall forecast, the European run, on the left to the 12Z today run on the right. Do you see much difference between the overnight run here on the left and the midday run here on the right? Not really. Not really at all. In fact, the outline of where, the southern end of the snow line or the snow accumulations is almost identical. Where the heaviest snow is projected to fall is almost identical. DC, Baltimore, Southwest into Central Virginia. I mean, my goodness. 5 inches of snow for the Hampton Road cities. All right. So you can see how much more robust, and I will show you the other model forecast here for snow amounts, accumulation forecast. You can see how pretty bold this European model is with some of these snowfall accumulations into Virginia in excess of a foot, and Hampton Roads is like 5 inches or so, okay? We'll have to watch how this fluctuates here. It's going to change. Now the GFS model, I have 00Z run here on the left and then 12Z here on the right, the latest run. Somebody is going to get hammered big time with a foot of snow, possibly more. Right now, it's got it just inland of Hampton Roads. It's got accumulations, lighter accumulations for Hampton Roads, the GFS latest run, but it's got a foot plus just inside interior of Hampton Roads. That's really come up drastically from the 00Z run here on the left. It didn't show a foot of snow overnight last night on the GFS run. Now it's depicting it. Canadian model forecast, overnight run here on the left, showing a stripe of 13 to 16 inches of snow in this greenish color, just inland of the Hampton Roads area, the Virginia coastline. Still a good 6 inches of snow on the overnight run, the Canadian run for Hampton Roads. But over here on the right, this is the latest midday run today on the 14th of February, and it really pulled back on the forecast snow amounts for Hampton Roads. Here's the German icon model. Look what we got. Overnight run on the left, ranging from 6 to 7 inches of snow across Hampton Roads. That was the overnight German icon run. And now today, it completely lost the heavier snow in Southeast Virginia. I don't believe the icon model whatsoever, that latest run here on the right. If we compare all these models and the snowfall forecasts, look at the consistency of the heaviest snows and where it's located. European, and there again is your GFS, and there's your Canadian. There's a very sharp snowfall gradient because it's going to be dependent here on the south side. It's going to be dependent on your rain-snow line placement. Really, really is. Really going to matter where that rain-snow line sets up. So in summary, all the models, these are just operational models. The ensembles are showing the same thing. They're all indicating a winter storm from the 19th to 20th of February. The precipitation starts Wednesday evening, the 19th of February, and it becomes the heaviest on Thursday, the 20th. There is lots of uncertainty regarding the placement of that rain-snow line, which will have huge implications on snowfall accumulations. Will the snowfall be north, the accumulations be north of Hampton Roads, or will they be over Hampton Roads? Again, this is a very sharp gradient to the rain-snow line, okay, on the south side. You can drive literally 50 miles and go from next to nothing to like a foot of snow in these kind of storms. I've seen these quite a bit. There's multiple possibilities right now for Hampton Roads. One of the possibilities is seeing rain at the onset, and then it turn over to a wintry mix, and colder air comes in, and we get a changeover to snow. But with the rain at the onset and then the wintry mix, that's going to limit your accumulations. We could see another scenario, the second one here, mix of rain and snow during the majority of the storm with no accumulations. We could see a brief rain and then heavier snow accumulations as the colder air comes crashing in with the moisture still in place. And we could just simply see a cold rain in Hampton Roads with no snow accumulations. So, there's a lot of possibilities here right now. And models will definitely come into better agreement here over the next couple days. Definitely by Monday, on President's Day, we should definitely have a more definitive idea of what this storm's going to do. But I will say this, and I posted this earlier on X. Where this Arctic high pressure sets up, and then where the track of this low goes, okay, that is going to be huge. Not to mention, of course, the steering patterns here, 500 millibars. But where this Arctic high sets up, if it's too far back to the northwest, like, I really don't like how far back this Arctic high is on all the models. You could look at the icon, you could look here on the GFS, you could look here on the GEM or the Canadian model, and you can look here on the European. Now the European brings it a little bit further to the southeast, kind of getting closer to Nebraska, but I don't like how far back this Arctic high is. For Hampton Roads, ideally what you want for a nice winter storm is for this Arctic high to be located over the Great Lakes or the Midwest, right in this area. You want that Arctic high to be sitting right in here. You want it right in here. You don't want it way back here, because if it's too far back to the northwest, you see the temperature anomalies and what happens. The coldest air remains west of the Appalachian Mountains. So while it will be cold in Hampton Roads, it may not be cold enough, if that makes sense. I would prefer to see this high slide a little further east. That's going to ensure that some of this very cold air kind of makes it over the mountains and dumps right into Hampton Roads. But you can see the European model here. I mean, it says everything you need to know. Over here on the right-hand side, again, that's Thursday morning, the 20th of February. We got this little warm nose trying to sneak in right up the coast, Outer Banks to Hampton Roads, and that will result in the snow changing over to a rain or a mix. But then here on the left, by the time we get to Thursday afternoon, the cold air rushes in. But the real question is will the moisture still be here when that cold air rushes in on Thursday afternoon? Or will that storm be pulling away from the coast? Big potential snowfall accumulations. Make no mistake about it. They're going to be there. But where are they going to set up? In a lot of cases, what happens, storms start off further southeast, and then over time they shift northwest and more interior, and the coast ends up with cold rain. It is a nice potential here. We know for sure temperatures are going to be running much colder next week. Enjoy this weekend because it's going to be fairly mild across Hampton Roads tomorrow into the 50s. Sunday, you're going to be into near 70 degrees Sunday with strong southwest winds ahead of the Arctic cold front. But once that Arctic cold front comes through Sunday evening, it's going to be a very cold week overall next week. It's just a matter of, can we get the storm track far enough offshore and bring the Arctic high a little further southeast? We want a storm track that's going to be far enough offshore, not too far, but further offshore, to where we stay even colder. It drags colder air in on its backside, and whammo, you get a nice snowstorm. So there's a lot of things we have to watch in the coming days, and I'll keep a close eye on it, and we'll see what happens, and I'll provide updates as necessary here. So again, sorry it's been so long since I made a video here. Heck, it's already been since December. I hope you've been enjoying, having wherever you are, everything is well for each and every one of the subscribers out there. But yeah, that's all I got for now, everybody, and just want to give everybody a heads up. Until next time, take care and God bless everyone.